LGBTQ plus rights are under attack across the world. New laws are targeting LGBTQ plus people with jail time or even the death penalty. But outside the media spotlight, activists in the Philippines are campaigning for a groundbreaking law that could change the lives of millions. The SOGIE Equality Bill would be the Philippines' first nationwide legal protection against discrimination on the grounds of sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics. The bill, first proposed in the year 2000, has faced stern opposition from religious and conservative politicians, but a diverse and determined movement of LGBTQ plus rights activists has refused to give in. Jap Ignacio is one of the movement's young leaders.
Our happiness as human beings actually come from being able to experience acceptance, equality, and being able to experience just the love from the communities that we live in. So that's the real goal of the SOGIE Equality Bill, to promote equality, not just by prohibiting some discriminatory acts, but also by promoting a more inclusive perspective in doing our everyday life.
JAP is part of Lagablab, a network of LGBTQ plus rights organizations working to pass the SOGIE Equality Bill. The bill has been held up in Congress for more than 20 years, longer than any piece of legislation in the history of the Philippines. Opponents of the SOGIE Equality Bill say it isn't necessary because same-sex relationships and queer performers are tolerated in the Philippines. But for poorer LGBTQ plus people, the law would change their lives. Leslie, head of Love, a feminist organization that's part of Lagablab and supports poor, lesbian, bisexual, and trans people in Manila, knows this more than most.
Dahil lang din sa mahirap na pamilya. Ang papa ko is driver, and ang mama ko is nag-aalaga lang sa aming magkakapatid. So usually na set up lang sa urban poor areas na mas pinipili na lang nila na magtrabaho. Tapos may mga instances pa na yung mga LBTs namin sa community is hindi tanggap ng parents. Marami dyan na pinapalayas. Yung org talaga yung pinakatungtungan nila, na ginawa nila kaming pamilya, ginawa nila kami na inspirasyon para umangat sa buhay. Kasi kung lagi nilang iisipin na wala silang kasama sa laban nila, lagi nilang iisipin na wala silang kasama sa para din, kasi malaking tulong yun sa org namin, sa community and sa Pilipinas din.
The SOGIE Equality Bill would send a strong signal that all LGBTQ plus people, including those living in poverty, are valued equally in Filipino society. Critically, the bill would give LGBTQ plus people a chance to hold bigots to account, particularly at work, something that would be life-changing for women facing discrimination based on their sexuality or gender identity. Ann Lim has spent decades researching the needs of queer, lesbian, bisexual, and trans women.
Employment is probably the biggest issue among LBTs. When you don't have college education, usually for females, the jobs that are available to you are like cashiers in shopping centers, salespeople, waitresses in restaurants. One of the usual requirements for these jobs is that the applicant has to have a pleasing personality, subscribing to the standards of femininity. And so butch lesbians, male-presenting lesbians often are not able to access these jobs. So these forms of discrimination always happen.
As part of the Lagablab network, Anne has attended countless hearings in support of the SOGIE Equality Bill. But unfortunately, those hearings can feel like an endless loop of bias and bigotry.
It's the same each time. Religious fundamentalist men usually are invited. They speak about the Bible, marriage being between man and woman, even if the bill has nothing to do with marriage. But through coordination with Lagablab, we're able to come up with a solid position, a unified position that makes our position more heard, given more importance by politicians. Through this network, we have always been able to be present in hearings, both in the lower house and the upper house. We also are able to expose our community partners in these spaces to speak our minds. Our voice as Galang is amplified through our network.
Experienced advocates like Anne are being joined by a new generation of LGBTQ+ activists, many of whom are motivated to speak out because of their own experiences of harassment and discrimination. Gian Dakis is campaigning for the SOGIE Equality Bill with the university student organization UP Babaylan.
I come from a very Catholic high school, all boys, so you get the gist. So oftentimes, I would notice a lot of my classmates explicitly harassing us, and even to me, where they would just touch us out of nowhere or our behinds out of nowhere, because oftentimes it is considered, or we're overly sexualized, like we're just objects to be played around with. It is inevitable that in that Catholic high school, you will be called like slurs for me being feminine, or for me not acting too manly enough, or for me having a take that they don't necessarily agree with. The SOGIE Equality Bill would definitely help us in combating violence and in combating discrimination that is upfront, that is direct, that is targeted in nature. It's taken so many years to pass because of a lot of factors. Primarily, it's taking so long because there are a lot of assumptions that people have, but they're not courageous enough to be able to check the reality of those assumptions. May it be because of religion, may it be because of politics or power or money or fame. I think the problem with Filipino citizens in general is that they tend to tolerate us, but they do not accept us. People are afraid to take a step further, to engage in conversation, to understand what we're really going through as a community.
Thanks to Lagablab and the LGBTQ+ rights movement, momentum behind the bill is growing. They've engaged the public with hopeful tactics to bring people together, including a letter-writing campaign that flooded congressional offices with messages in support of SOGIE equality. These tactics are growing the movement and building a groundswell of pressure to pass the bill. In response, those opposed to the bill are seeking to spread division. As is the case in many countries, trans people are stigmatized and stereotyped by anti-LGBTQ+ leaders. But despite this opposition, trans activists like Magdalena Robinson, director of Curls LGBT, are refusing to give in and are campaigning for the SOGIE Equality Bill.
Gender really matters to people, and that's why for us also it matters that our gender is also recognized. One of the most common challenge that we are really facing is really misgendering. Every day we experience this, and of course it gives us the dysphoria that we are not aligned in this society. People does not recognize us of who we are as people. They just want to see who we are with our sex organs. There's that stigma to you that if you are a trans person, if you're an LGBT person, you're sinful, you're immoral, you are a misfortune, you bring typhoons like that, you bring the rain. That's one thing that we are confronting in our society, that this should change. We really experience this every day from people, and that is verbal discrimination. You cannot access opportunities because you're trans. When you go to school, you really have to cut your hair so that you can access your education. When you endure all of that sufferings in the university, so you're ready for you to access employment, then the problem is you have to cut your hair for you to comply with your assigned sex at birth. The gender marker that they have in their birth records is really the problem.
For 20 years, activists have struggled to get the SOGIE Equality Bill passed to ensure the human rights of all Filipinos are respected. But globally, LGBTQ+ rights organizations receive a fraction of the media attention or funding they deserve. A 2020 study found that only 0.35% of philanthropic funding went to LGBTQ+ rights organizations globally. Tasing Marasigan is an experienced activist who knows just how important long-term flexible support from allies like the Fund for Global Human Rights is for the LGBTQ plus rights movement.
Fund for Global Human Rights has been partners for more than 10 years. We didn't have that much opportunity in terms of support, in the past, but because of the fund, it gave us really that opportunity to pursue SOGIE equality, not just SOGIE equality, but we expanded later on. What we need right now is actually expression of support saying that SOGIE equality is something that is not detrimental to society, it's something that's actually beneficial to the community. That would really help us in our campaign.
Activists are hopeful that momentum to pass the SOGIE equality bill is growing. When the bill passes, they will celebrate a landmark victory, marking a momentous step towards equality for all people of the Philippines.
Para sa akin kasi yung SOGIE equality bill yung magdadala ng pagkapantay-pantay para sa lahat.
It would really change a lot because I will feel safe, I will feel legitimate, I will feel valid.
How will we celebrate? By pushing for the implementing rules and regulations. That's the next step.
Maybe the first thing I'd do is I drink. Maybe a small party with friends, especially most of my friends are working for the LGBTQ advocacy, and bring more people in that celebration of a win for LGBTQ rights in the Philippines.
A group hug is needed because we accomplish, the lifelong dream. It does not end there. You have to ensure that it gets implemented.
And I don't think with the passage of SOGIE equality, the work will be over. There's still a lot of policies that must be taken care of. There's still a lot of communities that we have to reach. I joked about retiring, but come to think of it, you can only retire if everybody's actually equal, when everybody's actually happy. And when all LGBT individuals are experiencing a certain degree of well-being, fulfillment, and that they're free and safe. And I think that's the only time that I can fully say that we've already reached the end of the road for us as advocates. But the work continues.
SOGIE equality now!